Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. Dog, it is episode 100, and I couldn't be more excited about it, man. It is crazy how fast time flies, dude. I can't believe it. When we first set out to start RareFUD, it was like, oh, never did I think we hit 100 episodes. And fortunately, going on the market today, there's a lot of to talk about for the 100th episode. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to bring up our lovely co-host, Joe. How you doing, my boy?
Doing great. Number 100 today, man. It's crazy. Over a year, 100 episodes in. It's wild stuff, Dor.
Yeah,
doing well, though, big dog. How are you today, man?
Hey, dog. Every day is a holiday, man. I'm happy to be here with you. Hopefully, our other co-host, B, joins us today. He has some stuff pop up that he needs to take care of. But if he can't join us, he'll be here with us in spirit. That's for damn sure. So let's go ahead and hop into, as always, a little bit of Solana NFT market overview. I'm going to go ahead and head over to TXO to see volume. We're sitting at 37K daily volume, down a little bit from yesterday, which I think today we're going to see, or tomorrow we'll probably see a little bit of uptick in volume, especially with things like photo finishes pumping up from 8 sold all the way to 30. We'll talk about that. But also with Migos minting as well. Tensor sitting at 46% Solana volume, or 46% of the entire volume on Solana. Like, Tensor's starting to steadily gain that dominance over Magic Eden, because during the beginning parts, we saw there was a lot of back and forth, but now they look like they have a solid lead. Magic Eden is sitting at 37.74%. Hate Swap 6.9, as Bison said on the last episode. Once we see that Hate Swap is usually around that 10 to 15% range for volume, I think they'll get back there. In exchange, our Solana Art still at 4% volume. No idea who's using Solana Art still. And Exchange Art sitting at 0.85%. It's hard times in the one-on-one space, to be honest, man. Real hard times. Now let's head over to Sniper real quick. Sniper.xyz. We have 2,000 buyers and about 4,000 sellers. So pretty much been remaining stable where we're at. Once again, I think we're kind of close to a bottom, just due to like how bad the market's been these past several months. Like right now, even if you wanted to try, right now the market's a little bit better, but overall, if you wanted to try to sell something over these past couple months, it's been a bit rough. And the heat map's looking pretty good today. Like everything's kind of green. Like S&B sitting around 80, still down bad. Jesus Christ, that's down bad. I can't believe they're under 100 right now. But yeah, Joe, how are you feeling about the NFT market, man?
Hey, Dor. Sorry, my mute was a little laggy. Yeah, the NFT market is it's definitely getting closer to a bottom. When I say bottom, I mean most volume that was overvalued or used in a way that was malicious is kind of out of the market, and you're seeing more natural buying and selling. And I think you're seeing an actual like return back to the mean of what the project should really be worth. And I think this volume we're seeing now is not manipulated, right? We don't have big market makers in the market anymore. So we're seeing Solana start to take forth projects that can be exponentially driven within the Solana blockchain, right? Like the Heist and Photo Finish and these gamify projects that show Solana's worth in a sense, right? Because if you're trying to do this stuff on ETH and you're getting 250 to 500 gas fees a month, or let's say even bi-weekly, it's going to take you out of that DCA option, or I mean that passive income option that you're playing the game for, right? Or the play to own option that you're playing the game for. So I think we're kind of seeing Solana really start to build and grab things, and the people that have been here for a while are grabbing hold of projects that they can see, okay, this is an exponential gain on Solana because it's built for Solana, that type of deal. So NFT market, ETH's a little bit green. I think there's some strong players there you can start looking at, maybe DCAing in. I think we're getting to that point where even if crypto takes a hit, I think we've seen the capitulation down. People might look to start compounding, right? So we're in a better spot than we were a month ago, in my opinion, right? We're getting back to that median mean true value of projects.
Yep, dude, that was well said, Joe. I do want to hit on something that you were just talking about, like the ability for gaming on Solana. Early on during the last cycle, we saw a huge influx of with the huge influx of NFTs. We saw a huge influx of projects wanting to build and create games. A lot of those games were going to ETH and ETH layer 2s because that has been the chain that's been around the longest. Solana was a new chain back then, and it was really hard for people to, I want to be on Solana, not only because the coding language was difficult, but like nobody trusts this new chain. However, now that Solana's been around for a while, we're starting to see that people are beginning to realize how much more efficient it is to have these type of gaming plays and gaming NFTs on Solana versus other chains. And I think that will only continue. I believe, and many others in the space, I'm sure Joe, Bison, and even Easy would agree with me, it's like gaming is going to be one of those huge pushes during the next bull cycle. And just by making games accessible, not where you need an NFT, but having an NFT when like having the option to buy an NFT to enhance your experience in the game, I think is going to be one of these major drivers. And we're starting to see a lot of NFT games pop up, and I'm super, super excited for the future of NFT gaming. I really want to talk to you and B to get this one guy from Twitter. His name is like Jay Lettuce or whatever. He doesn't have a huge following, but this dude is like more ingrained into Web3 gaming than I know of anybody, man. He knows everything that's going on, every chain, what's coming on Solana. So it'd be great to have him come talk about it. But I do want to, sorry, Joe, were you going to say something, buddy?
No, I just think there's a lot of small fish in this ecosystem that deserve a platform. And that are real heat seekers for this information, right? They have some good niches, so that's a good find for sure. Dor, we'll definitely start getting some of these smaller accounts some airtime.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And just as you were saying, Joe, it's like these small accounts, because like they have to grind their way up. They're making sure that they put out top tier information, because without doing so, then people aren't going to really look at them. So like one of the, I guess, underlying or not much known alpha is like try to find those gym small accounts, man. They usually have better alpha than the big ones. But going into before we jump into discussing more about the NFT market, I do want to talk about the overall crypto market. I personally am not the big, as you guys know, your boy's not the best with macroeconomics, but I don't know anybody better than Joe and Bison at that. And recently we got an announcement that BRICS was abandoning the USD for trade. If those who don't know what BRICS is, it's like a formation of trading countries between Russia, China, South Africa, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But not only that, but they're like incorporating a lot of countries in the Middle East, such as the UAE, Saudi Arabia. And Joe, do you know what type of impact them abandoning the American dollar will have on the crypto market?
Yeah, for sure. So this has been put in for works for a while. They basically want to create a new currency backed by gold, get back to the gold standard. Peter Schiff obviously is a huge component in us moving back to the gold standard. I think a lot of people don't realize that the dollar went from the gold standard around Nixon era to the petrol dollar, right? Oil dollar, essentially, after the gold, which people don't really realize. We're kind of pegged to oil, but now we're really not pegged to anything other than the trust in the government, right? That's literally the only thing that's backing our dollar right now. So you can see by a lot of these, Venezuela, a few of these other people that have cut out trading in USD within itself can show you a little bit of lack in trust in America and in our currency and what we're backing it by in our paradigm. And you can even see that within America showing you passive aggressively through CBDCs, right? And pushing you towards a new currency that's really not backed by anything, right? A digital currency, in fact, right? So that effect is going to have a long rippled effect along with Evergrande and these other Chinese macro markets playing into effect. But a lot of this is also priced in, right? The DXY went down to almost 99, 98. It's back pushing 104, and it just broke a downtrending line of resistance, right? This horizontal at 104 in the macro is big. If we close above that, the dollar's got some strength to show. So it's kind of showing that people are at least still wanting to come back into the dollar and not be very risk on at the moment, right? Risk on is in a big spot for a lot of people right now. There's a lot of commercial real estate debt. And so we're seeing kind of the dollar gain strength again, but that means nothing. That's a local outlook. If you're looking at the macro thesis, like the dollar is underwater here. So it should be very interesting. I know a lot of people smarter than me have gone into like the Singapore dollar. They've gone into real estate to kind of hedge against inflation. Precious metals is one thing, but precious metals wasn't what they were, 10 years ago either. So I think we're in a very weird space right now. We're in a digital environment. A lot of people across the world are building infrastructure for digital payments, right? So I kind of think we're trending towards a digital currency anyway. So BRICS going for more of a gold-backed currency, which could be also digital, is very enticing and intriguing to me, to be honest with you. But as an investor myself, I will be hedging away from the dollar into some other inflation-protected equity stocks, especially like defense stocks and things of that nature, just because I know how much of a war perpetual motion we're in always. It's just how things are. So it's very interesting, Dora, to say the least.
Dude, that analysis was perfect, man. Like, dude, I felt like I was a viewer in the show, dog. Because like when it comes to macroeconomics, your boy's like, I don't know much, man. I don't know much. But I did like the point you brought up about a lot of these other countries like starting to utilize more digital currencies. Like everybody, like here in Mexico, Bitcoin's accepted for a lot of way more places than it is in the US. Like you can pay like a lot of the street vendors out here, they'll take Bitcoin. Like several of my landlords here have been willing to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment, vice just straight up USD. So I think we'll continue to see this more digitalization of money as we move towards the future. And a lot of these other countries out there who might not have the capital or infrastructure to set up a CBDC are going to look for existing things. So I think that's one of the bullish cases for crypto, that instead of like, and even as we saw with El Salvador is adopting BTC as a form of national currency, I think other smaller countries will do that as well. But before I continue to ramble on about that, I want to bring up our wonderful co-host, Bison. Dude, I'm happy you were able to make it, dog.
Oh, I couldn't miss the 100th episode. I was struggling over here. I had a real estate emergency, and it was a nothing burger, dude. I was like, you're joking, man. I literally dropped everything. I had a whole slate today. Been running around like a chicken with his head cut off. So I'm just happy to be here.
Dude, we're happy to have you here, man. Like, once again, I tried to live up to the standard of Bison hosting, and dog, it's a struggle for me every time. So when you come in, I'm always happy, dude. But before we jump into photo finish, what are your thoughts on the market, Bison?
Thoughts on the market. It's nice to see gaming kind of dominating the space right now. I've been saying this for the longest time. I think that gaming was just always a natural fit. Like this is what Solana next iteration was born to do. It was our thesis. I'm so glad to see Photo Finish get their flowers. Like, you could not have a better resume in this space than what Ian and the rest of his team do. Like, there's no better experience, there's no better actual product than what they have. I mean, you see what D Stables has done, you see what Big Brain Stables have done, and it's just nice to see them get their flowers. I would love to get Ian on just to kind of demystify, like, between the Photo Finish horses and the PFP and then you got the MVP Society and Sweets and like, yeah, exactly, and Crown and how that factors in, and then you got Derby at the end of the season. Like it's a lot, and I think this is one thing that, like, you know, obviously they know what the hell they're doing with games, like they crush it. But I would say the one piece of advice I have that I think we done really well with Heist is we really made it very simple to get in. Like I think you just know, you get a chimp, you get a tang, you put them in a place, and you get Coco back, you know, like, and then if you want to dive into the gameplay, there's a learning curve with it, but it's very easy and simple to get in.
Also, I think one thing that the Heist did well too is, like, I know people were very skeptical about the inflation mechanic of NFTs when that first came off to raffles. However, I think it provides an accessible chance for individuals to get in at a substantially lower price point. It only costs 1,000 Nana. That's probably maybe $30 right now. And I don't know how much that is exactly.
1,000 Nana. Yeah, it's about $19 now. Yeah. But am I carrying those? Yeah. It's $19, but now it's 5,000 Coco, and that is literally 30 cents or something like that for a raffle ticket. Like we made it accessible for different price points.
So like if you have like what 30, you said 30 cent, dog?
Yeah, I'm
30 cent for a raffle ticket. Like, it sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, I think it's sitting at like what Coco had a drop today too. So which I'm not entirely sure why. I guarantee you, here's what's going to happen. And this is why I'm saying, like, you don't have to FOMO in, although I think you'll get your value back in some way, shape, or form in Heist, just by being present in the game. I think that's why we have sub 1% listed, but it's more so like you don't have to FOMO in, because there will always be the people that have they're like, oh, this is so sick, this is great. And the reason we didn't deliver everything right out the gate is because they're always going to want more. And so we've been live for a week, and I guarantee you these people are like, okay, what next? What do we do next? And I love that you're repping my sheriff right now because you're on the main account. This is hilarious. But yeah, it's just like, what's next, right? And so you'll always have that. If anybody's looking for an entry into the Heist ecosystem, I'd always say, well, 1, you can join recruitments. 2, you can always get the SPL. 3, if you really want to just get a tang or chimp, wait till either there's a lull in content. And when I say lull, it's like, it's a week. Are you kidding me? Like,
it's Solana time. So like 3-4 days. That's
just wait till you see, like, you know, they haven't dropped any new feature right now. We're still smoothing out the game and making sure everything works before we proceed. But people are like, okay, now what? You know, and I think that's just a Solana way. So you can always find entry price. Like, I guarantee you tangs are going to go down. I've been looking at 16.5. If they go down there, I'm aping in. 17 would probably be my next entry point. But yeah, like that would be how I play this, because I don't see anything else going wrong. It's just boredom, right? Like if some people are naturally just gonna be like, what's the point of this game, right? And we'll be like, we'll show you, but this is just like a beta build.
I actually posted charts this morning because I could just feel the pullbacks on CocoNet, just because you get it, initial hype, then you got photo finish, and then all right, the speculation. We kind of know what CocoNet, like next announcements will pump So I kind of posted pullback levels for Dana, Coco, Tangs, and Chimps, all in a bid min and then a bid max, so 2 different bids. Because I'm thinking, it's funny that you're saying that. I'm literally thinking the same thing when I woke up. I was like, oh, this is a good time to try to position some more into the bag, right, to compound some of this. Unfortunately, people like to front run those, and I don't know if I will get any of those lines that I filled up on Jupiter Limit today. But if we do, we do. I'll be a happy man.
Yeah, I think right now too, like, Coco's dropping way more than it should. Like the use cases are still there. We have the data. Like, not enough people have upgraded yet, and you're going to want those upgrades, especially as we unlock new features. You know, so
I hope it drops. To be honest with you, to be honest, I still need probably 2.53 million to finish, and I would love to get it where it's not breaking the bank. You know, like EV positive. If this comes down and you can scoop Coco at the low and just max everything, that's completely EV positive in my mind.
It's literally sitting right now, Joe. I know you are fib master and everything, but it's sitting like right on its 382. So, like retracement. If you go from the right before the run up, like if there's going to be a spot, like I'm DCAing in here, and then I'd look at, the 0.5, which is probably around that 463 mark. But to me, and I see Confluence there too. So I look at that and I'm like, this is the easiest DCA of my life. Like short term, I think Coco's the move. And then, like the easiest position I can hold is Nana, because I know, like, we've been very transparent about it too. This isn't insider trading or anything. Like, you're going to need Nana. You might not feel it now, but you're going to need Nana. So Nana's like the easiest thing to DCA into right now.
Yeah, I'm still bullish on the Heist, man. Like, especially in this market, and it kind of ties in with the Web3 game meta. Like, you guys know what you're doing over there. You also have a way to ensure longevity and continue to bring about a newness in this game that I don't think is going to fade anytime soon. So, like, while it might seem like you're buying in high now, if you really enjoy the game and playing it and see the value that you derive from it, right now it's not a bad entry, especially if your time horizon's longer than 3 days. So I think you're going to be fine overall. Heist isn't going anywhere. Yeah, dude, super bullish on it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm just happy to see games get their love. I'm excited for like Star Atlas and even
Moonfrost, dog.
So what? Yeah, Moonfrost is gonna be cook whenever it drops. I haven't heard anything on timeline of when it's actually coming available, but that's going to be a cook. It's not even a question. Yeah. Parallel's doing this thing over on ETH and with their Prime token. And I don't know. I'm just like, gaming was so obvious. Like, if you didn't think so before, like this will show it that, there's a bunch of different ways you can dissect this too. Like, if you want to be a Web 2 facing strategy, sure, go for it. If you want to be Web 3 facing like us, there's a way to go about it. I just make sure your tokenomics, it's probably like the biggest advice I can give you is tokenomics makes sense.
I do like the point that you just hit up, like Web 2 and Web 3 facing. It's important to understand which one you are, because if that marketing is going to kill you if you're not, if it's not spot on. If you're trying to be a Web 2 game and marketing to a Web 3 audience, that ain't going to work, man.
No, it won't. And, I always say too, you can't be lukewarm on, like, I kind of want to be like in between. Like, I want to appeal to the Web3 degens, but I also want to be like massively adopted. You got to pick one of the other. And I think, a lot of these VC funded games are probably going to be best off going the Web2 route and then branching into Web3. And I always go back to Mythical. I think Mythical Games have done like the best job with NFL Rivals and now Nitro Nation and even Parallel to an extent. Like, you can connect your wallet, but all you do is sign up with your email address, and they do a really good job of just making it feel like, oh, it's just another trading card game. And then you realize like the extent that NFTs are involved. That to me is that's what's going to move the adoption needle on the Web 2 facing strategy. You can't be like, we knew we were appealing to degens. We were going to be crowdfunded and everything. And that's why we went the route we did. Like, we're going to start out small. We're going to start out with our total addressable market as just Solana, and then we'll branch out from there. And that'll be, like different chains next, and then, making it super accessible and adoptable by the masses.
Yeah, no, dude, I completely agree with you about that, because what we saw earlier on with Web3 gaming is that we had a lot of Web3 like NFT mints to raise funds for a game that wasn't going to be out for 2 to 3 years. So people started fading NFT Web3 gaming because they're like, oh, all these projects has failed. No, they just went around it wrong. Remnants was the most successful Web3 game that it released. You guys had a working product on launch, dog.
And the best SPL, most traded SPL, back when we didn't have Bird Eye, like we didn't have any of these things beforehand, and CMP was it
was traded on Famous Fox, dog.
Well, what's awesome about these games is it like me and Dorian were talking before you got on, B. It allows people to see Solana in the light that it needs to be seen in, right? Like, this is what we're here for. Low transaction fees, composability, like all these things are shown directly within the Heist, directly within Photo Finish. So there is no more speculation. You can kind of go, okay, transparency, there it is, there's this. So it's kind of more, it's actually bigger than relative within itself. It's huge for the Solana blockchain in general, to be honest with you. Like, hacker houses can break these things down, create PowerPoint. There's so many things you can do with a successful product like the Heist and Photo Finish, right? So I just have nothing but good things to say about the gamification of both.
Yeah, dude, I probably just put the nail in the coffin on this one. Super excited for the future of Web3 gaming on Solana. As I mentioned earlier to Joe B, I want to try to get Jay Letters Rap. I don't know if you know him on Twitter or whatever, but
oh, of course I do.
Yeah. I'd love to have him on the show, and then like maybe we can have like a show like dedicated to like Web3 gaming and like what's coming on Solana, but not only here, but other ecosystems as well. I think that'll be a fun time to talk about. Probably hit it off in one of the next downturns of the market. That way we can fill up the episode with something. But moving on, we're going Migos mints this today. Like, man, it's we've been talking about this for a couple months now, and it's finally happening. Like for me, I've been seeing some of the art on the timeline, and it looks pretty good. And I just went back to the mint page, and it sold out. Not surprising. I don't think Blocksmith has advertised exactly what the utility is for Migos yet. I'm sure there will be some. It's Blocksmith.
Is it 10K? Sure.
I think it's 10K. Yeah. There was only like 5.3K for mint, and the mint price was 6 sols, so a pretty high mint price, honestly. I like as with any good project, it was receiving FUD. Like for me right now, if a project is not getting FUDed in the beginning before mint, it's bearish. Like people were FUDding Migos talking about Blocksmith hasn't built anything in a while. Well, yeah, but they still built a lot of incredible things, especially early on. Like they were one of the first platforms to build a whitelist distribution tool. I know that doesn't sound like much now, but back in the day, it was revolutionary, man. Blocksmith was eating. That's why they ran up to 120 sol. But Joe, what do you think about Migos, man?
To be honest with you, I did have a whitelist and I was gonna mint, but I was so busy today I literally didn't even think about it, so I missed the mint. But no, man, I'm curious to see speculation price action if they don't drop anything right away. If they kind of just let the market value it without saying really what it is or what's going on. If people just to let people speculate on the price, volume wise, and PFP art wise. I'll be very curious to kind of jump in that price action. However, if they come right out and tell you the utility for it, there's either two things that's going to happen. It's going to be received well and price goes up, or it's going to be received badly and price goes down. So there's my two options. I'm just going to wait and see what the team decides to do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, Joe. I think Blocksmith has been around so long, a while right now. So I think we'll wait a couple of days, probably even next week, we might see an announcement. But a lot of projects who've been around for a while, they hold their announcements back. Like they do their mint, let things cook, let the price action settle down, then the announcement comes out. So I think we'll see something soon on that. I'm interested to see how the price action will happen around Migos. Right now, it's hovering right above mint around 7.2 sol. So not too bad, but we'll continue.
What's that? Cool. I like the art. The art's cool.
Oh, yeah. It looks good, man. I was like, I saw a couple, I'm like, all right, but seeing the rest of the collection, it looks pretty solid. It's
a 10K collection, but reality-wise, all Smiths got a free one. I can see them just putting that in the bag. So it's kind of like, it's like more like 65% of that collection is like the true probably supply in my brain. Just because like I see a lot of those Migos guys, those are Smith guys probably just sitting on it. It's free. Why would you sell it? You know what I'm saying? So that kind of takes out a clip of the supply right there.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you, Joe. B, what's your thoughts on Migos, man?
I think they are a buy, actually. One, the fact that they sold out, but two, we've been seeing this every single mint lately that I can think of in recent memory, where we have this, it opens up high and then it draws back down. Like right now, we're sitting at 741 with royalties and everything. We did this. We did the same dance with orangutans, where they went down to like 10, maybe high 9s, and then exploded from there. We did the same thing with Brawlhalla. We did the same thing with Mad Lads. We did the same thing with Bastards. Not really Bastards, actually, but there's always this like people rushing for liquidity and flipping for burger money, and then they just take off from there. The fact that they sold out right now, to me, is nothing short of excellent in this market. And they were at a 6 sol mint price, dude. Like that's nothing to scoff at. Now granted, Blocksmith had, you can mint and forge and everything like that, but like more than half of their collection was a soul raise. I think this is good. This is good for the ecosystem. It looks like we're healing. And yeah, I like the art a lot. I think the art's actually kind of fire, but you know, I'm curious to see what they do with it. Right now, to me, just knowing how mints have gone lately, especially when they sell out, I'd be looking to pick one up and then, you know, just watch for the pump and maybe they go back to 10 or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, man. I think there's also a trend too. It's like products that are minting with already a proven product are doing well. We saw that with the Heist. We saw that with Tensor. And I think if the trend is your friend, man. So like, I think Migos will do pretty well, man. I like I said, I wouldn't sit here and fade Blocksmith. Like I'm not a good trader post mint, so I personally going to wait till the price settles down to see what goes on. I might put a couple of bids in to see what happens, but overall, I think they're do pretty well. Anything else on Migos?
No, I'm curious to see what happens with utility. I don't doubt that they've thought about it before. But yeah, I'm just curious to see where the fit is, because I saw that Alex posted something out that was like, yeah, you know, this Migos is gonna be everything. You know, you can make socks with it, you can make shirts, and if it's strictly an IP and brand thing, then like I'd be curious, because I don't know, Blocksmith isn't known for branding and getting IP out, you know, but if it has further utility in some way, shape, or form, if it helps out with Atlas or any of the other tools or suites of tools, then I'd be curious. But other than that, I'm just playing the price action game, and I think these can be a short-term cook.
Mm-hmm. No, dude, I want to hit on the point that you were like, oh, Blocksmith isn't known for IP and branding. I think we're starting to enter a meta, because there was the hype meta where like we saw Frank, and then we'll talk about D-Gods and stuff was going on ETH here pretty soon. But we saw where hype was the thing to do. But right now, it seems like the meta is to just ship it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to go out there and talk. All you do is need to deliver. Just drop announcements, and the market appreciates that. And I think doing that is better in the sense of you don't hype up your community for unrealistic expectations, and the people who believed in the project are the ones who benefit the most of it. I think we saw this with Photo Finish recently. I still don't know an announcement. We can talk about Photo Finish right now. I don't know what announcement they made, but this thing ran up from 8 sold to 30 within a week, dog. And Crown, that thing absolutely ran as well. Crown last week was 8 cents. It was 34 cents today, dude. So, like, if you've been involved in that ecosystem, man, you're having a freaking great day. I think Photo Finish is down to 21 souls. Still not bad. But what do you guys know what's going on with the Photo Finish ecosystem right now?
Bro, they just caught fire the right time. I guess they were on Easy Space this morning. Ian's a pretty regular guest there. He's been coming on a lot more lately, but I guess somebody wrote like a blog and post about how to get involved, and you know, like what the significance of this is and everything they're involved with. I think it's just catching fire at the right time. This has always been a good product. Like it's literally used at the Kentucky Derby. They use their simulator at the Kentucky Derby. Insane. You don't get better. They're talking about Churchill Downs is going to be a partner, or the Preakness. One of the other big races, I think, is going to be a partner. And then they're talking about a base a partnership where, you know, like they're probably going to be on bases layer. They're going to expand their reach. And then, I mean, like, they're doing everything right. They're just building in silence. And this is a team that has 20 years plus of experience of FanDuel and EA Sports. And like, this is a no brainer. And I sat there last night. I saw Crown had pumped, and I looked at the horses. They were like 4 soul. And the last time I checked, that they were like 10. So I'm not sure what's going on over there, but I need to get involved. I just don't have time right now to be looking at plays.
Yeah, same Bison. And that's my thing too. It's like, that's why I develop more of a mid to long term. It's just like, I'm so busy with work. I don't have time to like try to actively figure out everything on this short term. But sorry. Dang it, what's this project I just talking about? My bad. Photo Finish, dude. I don't know. I had a brain fart. Photo Finish was one of the ones I overlooked. Joe, what are your thoughts on Photo Finish, dog?
Yeah, Photo Finish, like Bison said, they've been around forever. I've been keen on their token and ever since DGods, right? Because Aaron started a sub DAO for us within DGods forever ago for stables and stuff. Like, so I've always had like an eye on it. It just makes sense. I mean, like he said, the team is back. Like they have 20 years of experience. Like they're like legit builders, legit pushers in Web2 mainstream. Like they've gotten the name out there. It only makes sense, right? Horse racing is something that's been around for hundreds of years. Like, and we're going into a digital economy to be able to kind of seamlessly transition into that. Makes sense. So yeah, it's just those liquidity magnets, right? I missed out on this one. I found the Heist, right? I knew that was, so I just stuck my guns there and built my stuff. This is another one. There's going to be a few liquidity magnets during this bear that really grabs and catches traction. So, in hindsight, it's always easy to say, wow, that was obvious, but this one is literally hindsight 2020 obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, dog. Definitely. I do want to jump over to the ETH ecosystem just because the NFTs has been down bad across all chains. We're starting to see some life on Solana, which is great, but also ETH had a little bit of uptick. But the primary ETH collection I want to focus on is none other than DGods. We saw them drop from 9 ETH all the way down to a little bit sub 3.3. Like surprisingly, I know we were discussing how that was the wall that they needed to hold, but they dropped down below that and are sitting around a 3.9 ETH floor price. Do you guys think it's a good time to buy DGod right now? Do you think DGod still has potential in the future? If you're talking,
yeah,
we can't hear
yes.
you. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was muted. No, I do. I personally do. This is one of those dips you just buy. They've shown great strength as far as rebounding and everything. And the most obvious buy in the world was when they got close to 3.33. You saw all the bid support there on Blur. Yep. So
the OGs, I called it just because I know some of these OGs and they are profitable over 3.33 and negative under that. So they're going to come together. A lot of these guys are worth 50 to 100 million. For them to infuse 250 to a million just to save their, like, it's nothing to them. So yeah, like that was, like Bison said, that was the keen entry for sure. I think anything below 4, to be honest, is probably a good deal. If you have ETH that you're not worried about staking or you don't want to solidify, if you want to compound into the NFT market, DGods are going to be around. Like they're not going to stop pushing. I mean, you can't overlook what Kevin has done in his life and what he's shipped and sold and built. So it makes sense to me that, yeah, if you're going to go into an ETH project sub 4, yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well said, dog. I agree with both of you, man. Like, there's no shot. Like, Frank isn't going anywhere. Kevin isn't going anywhere. And Kevin, somebody with that type of experience to join DGod's team, he obviously joined for a reason. So, yeah, I think DGod's around this range is a good buy. It's hard for me to see him going much lower. But, I mean, who knows what the market's going to do. But I still think you'll be fine in the long term. Speaking of DGods, Utes, I think, are a good pickup too, man. They're below ETH right now. And so I was like, oh, crap, like 0.98 is the one I think I've seen on the floor. So I know there hasn't been much release for Utes yet. So other than they're moving back to they're moving from Polygon to Ethereum, I wouldn't fade Utes either.
I wouldn't either. No, I think Utes is probably a pretty strong buy, but yeah, I mean, they're going to tap into the ETH liquidity. The thing is, though, like ETH had an ability to go over to Polygon. So I guess there is that. I mean, you can take it from that point. Like they had kind of a similar liquidity, but it's just so hard to get over to Polygon. Like I think Polygon's interface is just terrible. I'd rather just deal on ETH anyways. But yeah, I mean, I'd really like that. I don't think you need any art upgrade with Utes. I think the art's great. I think the color palette's great. I think the brand ability is awesome. You see them all over the timeline. You see some of these big accounts repping Utes still. So I think familiarity wise, sure, I'm all for playing Utes and everything like that and tapping into ETH. But I haven't heard, it's all been quiet on that front. And I think Frank and Co.'s main priority is going to be making sure DGods is up first and then worry about Utes. So it's always going to be a secondary thought. And if that's how, like, if there's no synergy there, like that's why it's hard. Is like, if your baby with DGods is not doing as well as you want to, then you need to focus on that before you go over to Utes. And that's just like how much does that delay Utes and what they're trying to do? Yeah, they're going to go over to ETH, but is it going to be easy? Like, is it going to be hard? Is it going to be another delay? What are they going to do once they get over to ETH? I don't know. So I think you have time to get into Utes, but I'm not really trying to move liquidity over there like ASAP.
No, I completely agree with you, dog. And especially, I think after the hype around season 3 or whatever, which Frank released, if it went better, then I think he put more focus on use. But right now, he's trying to fix things with the DeGods community to ensure that's long-term good. And then if DeGods is good long-term, Utes will follow naturally. Yep. So as you said, focus on the primary collection, then focus on the secondary one. Anything else, guys? Like, you want to get into some alpha real quick? If you guys have some alpha?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine with me. Wait, did we talk about the Shopify news before we get into anything else? Because I think this is the most bullish case we could have got for Solana in general. Like, I think Shopify is insanely, like, how do we not think this is going to gigasend like Solana? Because the fact that you can use Solana Pay or any of our, like, I guarantee you it's not going to be the only payment medium that gets adopted over on Shopify if they're integrating with Solana in some way, shape, or form. But that is something that sees like $2 billion of revenue, you know, like that is what? That's massive. And if we can set up stores. I saw a funny tweet that was like, are we going to start seeing rugs on Shopify now? Which is ironic because I'm sure there are like literal rugs for sale on Shopify. It would be ironic to buy one with Solana, but I think that's a huge catalyst for adoption for Solana. And it's going to be like, that's a huge access point for a lot of people. So it's going to be curious to see how they roll it out, but that's massive. And I don't think that's the last thing we're going to see for Solana in terms of adoption news. But
dude, no, like, yeah, I can't believe we missed over that. But yeah, Shopify has over 2.1 million users a day, dude. That's absolutely insane. Once again, I think the adoption of Solana Pay on that platform just shows the ability for the use case of Solana in the future. And I think I said on the last episode, I think Solana has the highest chance of institutional investors using this chain vice other ones. Obviously, Papa Bitcoin, you're never going to fit. Like, Bitcoin's in a league of its own. Like, I wouldn't even say compare other cryptos to that. It has the most name recognition, and having name recognition amongst an entire populace who does not understand anything about crypto cannot be beaten. However, when institutions are looking to utilize different chains, like actually use chains and not just, oh, we plan on partnering with this chain like a bunch of them did with Polygon, and start looking in the use cases, none of them outperform Solana. There's no shot. That not even close, dude. I can tell you, go out there and explore other chains and you will see how bad they are. Yes, there's another wave of chains starting to come out. Like I know Venom's is in test phase. Sui is getting a lot of talk. But the issue with using new chains, which we saw with the last cycle, is that these chains are unproven. You start using these chains in a large scale and they shut down. However, Solana has been battle tested very publicly, like whether it's good or bad. A lot of people know Solana because SBF was tied to it. While that is bad press, at least people know about Solana now. So, I mean, I guess we win some, you lose some. But I do think that over time, we'll see more institutions actually begin to use Solana as their primary means of payments and processing transactions. Sorry, that was a bit of a ramble, but go ahead, B, if you wanted to jump in and say something.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. Like, you look at Friends Tech, which has been all the rage lately. I don't know how long it lasts, but I think there is longevity to it, or at least the concept of it. I don't know if somebody comes in and improves it, but it's built on Base, which is, the L2 that Coinbase deployed. I saw Brian Armstrong put out a tweet that was like, we achieved 16 TPS. And you're like, bro, is that really a flex? Like, we do that. We eat that for lunch.
No, that is bad about Night Market coming out saying they had $1,000 in volume. A weird flex, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you could celebrate small milestones, but that's not really, like, maybe do it in private, because we're past that point now, and I don't think anything's built as well from the ground up as Solana. And looking at these other L2s, like if that's what you're celebrating,
no,
I think we can do better. I think institutions will see it.
We've been through what they're trying to do, and they're going to stumble. They're going to get a mass amount of users in a day, and they're going to go down. And right, like Solana's been battle tested and on its way to where it's at. Right, like, and a lot of these blockchains can't say the same. Right, and we've rallied around, have created really good community in Solana within itself. I think that is like an outlying effect, is the fact that we've been battle tested so much psychologically and physically through the actual blockchain, but also through FTX, right? And like all these other crazy things that's happened. So yeah, man, I know we're all soul maxis, but there's a reason why we are.
Mm-hmm. So, dude, we're not soul maxis for the sake of being maxis. I think we're pretty fair on here, and we're be the first to criticize. I think we were doing the show when Solana was shutting down, right? Like we were like, this is not good. Yeah. This needs to get fixed. So we're not soul maxis for the sake of it. We're soul maxis because we don't see much out there that can compete. It's just being honest.
Bro, just what you can do on Sol is only possible on Sol sometimes, and I think a lot of people lose sight of that. But yeah, as far as what M. Alley's saying on the chat, MetaMe is another upcoming mint. I'd probably throw them in the same bucket as like a KYDS or Kids, whatever you want to pronounce it as. Think there's some hype I see on my timeline. I think the art's really good. I think I've been hurt too many times by anime style PFPs that worries me. But the art's sick, and I got to give it to them. But as in terms of like, if I were to rank the upcoming mints that I know of, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I'd probably say Sandbar is the one I'm most excited for.
Sandbar,
just because I love it. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a product. Again, we're going back to do they have a product at launch? And Sandbar will. Like, they've been testing it extensively, and I think there is a need there, and what they're going to do to change the landscape of making sure we're all actually working in Web3 is helpful. And then Architude, I think, will kill it on the art. I think MetaMe's really interesting. Again, it's another one that I look at secondary and just going to play the secondary game, but the art slaps. I mean, if you haven't seen it before, it's some good stuff. I think we've seen it on, I think I pulled it up on one of the past episodes, but good art. And then KYDS is probably the last one. I don't know. I'd probably maybe even above MetaMe, but I think I've seen a little bit more buzz about MetaMe. I don't know. I think Sandbar is, for me, the clear one as far as in terms of what's coming up here in the near future. But yeah, that's it. I think the art slaps. I think the art's nice looking.
Dude, no, I agree with you, man. The art looks pretty good. I mean, I love. Do you know if they? Oh, never mind. They have a chick in the collection. Cool.
Yeah. You got to have females these days, especially an anime collection. Like, you're always going to get simps and stuff like that. So
yeah, like in
the good old sympathy play.
Sandbar. Yeah, like MetaMe's cool. And Sandbar, I really like the art of Sandbar. It looks super simple, kind of like Tensor, just how it's the black outline with things around it. I really like that style. Yeah,
it's more playing on like the cosmetics of it rather than the actual, and just the eyes and stuff. Sometimes it I don't know. It to me, I like the art. I like Buckets a lot. Buckets is one of the homies. JS as well. I know JS is with KYDS too, so
Oh shit, he is.
Yeah, he's over there as well. But the man just he doesn't stop grinding. So that's probably the biggest reason I want to get into KYDS. Plus the art looks pretty good over there as well. But the mints, I'm like, this is really encouraging to see Migos mints out, and obviously with Heist doing what it's doing, I do think that mints are probably in a better position than they were, a month ago or so. But
weeks ago.
But I'm hesitant. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't know if I'm minting anything right now.
No. It's like, once again, as you said perfectly, I'm cautiously optimistic, but minting stuff. Honestly, I've never been a huge minter anyway. If I mint something, I usually automatically flip it and buy back later. I'm just not good at the mint game. With KYDS or whatnot, or no, MetaMe. I personally like anime art. However, the Solana market doesn't value anime art that highly. I don't know of any anime project or anime PFP style on Solana that has done well. Like, it's just not. I don't think it's the chain for art anime style PFPs, and I guess it's important to know your market in that sense. Not saying I hope they do well, but I just don't think they will because historically based anime art hasn't done well. I think, as you were saying regarding the ranking of mints that are coming up, super excited for Sandbar, super bullish. JS and Buckets, definitely wouldn't fade them. Excited to see Sandbar's platform. I know they've been working on it for a while. And speaking of that, it just seems once again it's the trend of like builders creating platforms and releasing first is kind of the current meta. So Wolf Capital, I think, is kind of a good buy. It's kind of a sleeper right now, man, just because they minted a while ago and like people haven't been talking to them. But what is it sitting at, like 1.6 right now or something?
Yeah, it's cheap. I mean, if you want a cheap play with limited downside, yes. You can't really go wrong betting on Wolf Cap. So
yeah, J-Shep is solid, dude. 1.37 right now, man. Like it is one of those plays. Like I don't know when they'll pop off, but limited downside, dude. Very limited.
Yeah, I would think so too, but you just never know. Yeah. I already have 5 and they're paid for, so I'll just sit on those, and then if I see momentum, I'll jump into it. We do have another question over on the right. We have a couple of questions. So Mohammed's asking what we think of Sol in 4 hours, 23:17. I would say zoom out. Like right now, just DCA time for me. It's sitting right at support of what I want to see. If it holds 20, then good. On the weekly, it looks fine. It's a healthy retrace, but I'm not really too concerned about Sol in the like short term. I'm not trading it right now. I think if anything, I'm just trying to add to any stake bag I got and trying to buy any undervalued NFTs that I see, or just keep it liquid in general. The other question is thoughts on Chacon. I actually had a talk with Corrupt the other night, and a good dude. I mean, I think Chacon is, like I think they're poised. I think the art's going to slap too. So if you miss out on MetaMe, I think the art revamp is going to be fairly, like, it's going to be one Sol to reveal, I think, and which I like. They got to make money in order to fund a business. So yeah, I like Chacon a lot. I got to preview some of the art. I think it slaps. So very much in the same sense and vein of MetaMe, and I've just been on a builder that is still showing he wants to be around for as long as Chacon has.
Yeah. Joe, what are your thoughts on MetaMe, Sandbar, Chacon, and anything else that we were just talking about?
Yeah, I don't know much about MetaMe. Chacon, I hope they come out with some. I know that the art they were showing before looked pretty good, but it's just hard to sell a product right now in this market if all you got really is art and community. But yeah, I wish well for everybody that's putting true time in and actually cares about their product. So I wish them well. I'm just very, very picky where I'm putting liquidity now. Most of my Sol is staked. The rest is in the Heist assets, and I don't really have much other room for investment thesis right now in the NFT realm of things.
Yeah, no.
Bro, Joe's voice sounds scratchier than mine, and I'd talk for like 2 hours on Nekazuma's AMA today. So that was that boy got a scratchy voice. What you been doing, Joe?
That's Mary Jane, unfortunately, right there. That's the one con of a heavy Mary Jane lifestyle, bro, is that raspiness.
The raspiness.
Baby,
you love to hear
chamomile tea.
Last thing before we wrap up, M. Ali in the chat was talking about the keepers. This is my first time hearing about them. Apparently, they're protecting investments through NFT insurance policies.
Wait, I've heard about that.
Okay.
Give me a second. I saw them pop up on my timeline somewhere.
What was it?
The keepers.
The keepers.
Is that Sol or ETH?
Sol.
That's Sol. Sol. They got there's a wolf list. They got 14K followers. Yep. I remember seeing a video of theirs pop up, and it's basically like NFT insurance. I'd be very curious to see how it all pans out, but I think NFT-fi is still going to be a thing. And I'd be more bullish on it if we get more users, right? Like NFT-fi is only as good as its total addressable market. So we start seeing active buyers pop up, then we good. It's multi-chain too. Then they got a a grant from the Solana
Yeah,
Foundation. Bro, Solana loves throwing money at projects that are chain hopping.
Dog, can we get a grant, Solana Foundation? Damn, dog.
Yeah, we actually had a talk on with Austin Federa on No Fluff yesterday, and it was really good. I mean, I like their overall strategy is like keep it lean right now because we're gonna go into a bull cycle, and that's probably when we're gonna do like a lot more. Yeah. But right now, it's just focusing on building. I understand that. Being the best we can.
What you're saying, B, is we need to keep grinding to the bull so we can get a fat Solana grant, huh?
I suppose so. Yep. God, please.
Well, yo, you boys got anything else?
I think that's it for me, bro. I'm just happy to be here. 100 episodes. We did it.
Dude, yeah. Dude, I can once again still in shock to 100 episodes. Want to give a huge shout out to Bison because not Rare Fluff. A Rare FUD wouldn't be a thing without him like approaching me and Joe, man. Like, didn't think we'd get 100 episodes deep. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking out that far. I just like, oh, it's a fun thing to do with Bison. So huge shout out to you, man, for like bringing this together to start. And huge shout out to everybody in the audience, man. It's like, it's incredible to see the channel grow, especially during peak bear market. Like, geez, we all three of us have to be insane to start a show about NFTs when nobody's looking for NFTs at all. But thanks for you guys for tuning in so much on every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. EST to check us out and watch us ramble on about the market. Even though some days are slower than others, you guys still show up. So I can't be more grateful for than that. Joe, I want to appreciate you, dog, for, taking your time and being here as well, man. This show wouldn't be the same without you either, dog.
Love you guys, Dora. You're amazing. You're a sweet human being, bro. Be protected at all costs, bro.
Oh, dude, this market in life be rough sometimes, man. But I ain't gonna let it take it away from me, dog. Every day is still a holiday.
You're a gem, brother. And
thanks, dog.
Love you, bro. That's the king right there, Big B, man.
You guys are too nice. Anyway, thank you all for watching episode 100 of RareFUD Radio. We'll be back next Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST as always. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on all our individual accounts. Make sure you check us out on Spotify. Please leave a review. It helps out the show a ton. And also, make sure you click that like button on any of the content that comes out. It helps out the channel a ton. Once again, thank you all for watching. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.